Hello, 10th graders. Welcome back to your third instructional video with Modern Classroom. This one is about good reasons to read. So I'm recording it in front of our class bookshelf. I have a lot of my favorite books on this bookshelf, so if you're ever looking for something to read, please let me know and I will help you pick one out. Our objective for today is that students will be able to list good reasons to read. So right now you're going to need your packet open. We're going to be taking Cornell notes today, so you'll also need a pen or a pencil to get started. All right, so you might be wondering, why is it important to read? And obviously as an English teacher, I do really enjoy reading myself, but I have friends that really don't like reading, and I know that not everyone enjoys it. So a lot of times I've heard people ask the question, I already know how to read. Why do I need to practice this skill if I already know how to do it? I've also heard people say, this book that we're reading, it doesn't matter to me or my life. It doesn't relate to me at all. Or maybe you just think that it's really boring and it's not engaging. So if you're feeling this way, I put together this list of reasons why it's still important to read and practice the skill of reading, because it's actually good for our brains, it's good for our mental health, and we're going to get into all of these reasons as we watch this video. So the first reason that it is good to read is that it's actually good for your brain. So reading is one of the only behaviors that has been scientifically proven to increase your IQ. So we know that if we read a lot, we'll learn new vocabulary, we can learn about tons of different topics, and this will actually make us smarter. Reading also improves our memory and our critical thinking skills, so we'll be able to remember important things, we'll be able to make smart and informed decisions. Reading improves all of those skills as well. It also increases the blood flow and improves connectivity in the brain. So that just means that reading is actually strengthening the connections between the neurons in our brain, and that is what is helping us become smarter human beings, which is a good thing. And then finally, reading helps lower the risk of Alzheimer's disease, which is something that impacts your memory and your brain's ability to function. So all of these reasons are why reading is actually good for your brain. So make sure you've got these written down in your notes before we move on to the second reason. All right, so our second reason why reading is good for us is that actually reading reduces stress. And so I know personally I deal with anxiety and stress in my life all the time, and I know that a bunch of studies have found that younger generations are experiencing a lot of anxiety and depression and stress, and that mental health is a real challenge. And reading is a technique that we can use to help distract us from everyday stressors. I know we might have tactics like walking or listening to music or playing games that help reduce our stress, and reading can be added to that toolbox as something that we do to reduce stress. So reading actually engages your imagination and it distracts us from other things. And I've heard people talk about that the worst way you can use your imagination is by being anxious, right? Like when we feel anxiety, we're imagining all the worst possible things that could happen, right? Or we're imagining like just all the things that we don't know how they're gonna play out. And reading, you're actually using your imagination to think about the character and the plot. And if you keep reading, you're going to find out what happens. So there's not that anxiety about like, what's going to happen and how is this going to end? We actually get to know and find out what's going to happen and how it ends. Reading also increases our empathy and our self-esteem. So empathy, that is our ability to kind of think from other people's perspectives or see other people's point of view and see them as human beings. And reading, shows us so many different people's journeys, people's lives. It teaches us about people who are different and similar to us. And so it can really help us practice empathy. All right, so we're moving on to our third reason why it's good to read. Reading improves your self-discipline and consistency. So this is just a fact that our attention spans are getting shorter. I know that I am guilty sometimes of going on social media and just scrolling And that, our attention span is really short with those. We watch 10-second videos and then we want to scroll to the next thing. But reading actually forces us to focus on what's in front of us, to focus and fixate on the plot or the characters and what's happening in this book. And again, that just helps our brain form these neurological connections, which makes us smarter people. All right, we are moving on to our next reason. Reading will help you develop the skills of the future. So reading helps boost numeracy, which that's just a fancy word for math skills or things having to do with numbers, and technological problem solving, including analytical thinking, detecting patterns, solving problems, and assimilating new information. So these skills will be even more important in the future, regardless of what kind of goal you have for your future. If you have a career or a job that you want to do, if there is a certain type of schooling you're pursuing, all of those things require that you have these, problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills, and reading helps us practice all of those things. So finally, our fifth reason is that reading actually improves our overall wellness. So this is a fact that I didn't know, but a study has shown that spending 30 minutes a day reading a good book actually burns calories. Our other English teacher, Miss Cope, actually taught me this one, and I was blown away. Reading before bed improves our sleep. So if instead of looking at your phone right before you go to bed, if you open up a book and read for a couple minutes, that'll help you fall asleep better. Reading has also been shown to lessen depression, which we talked about, the importance of mental health. And a study from Yale actually found that people who read daily live longer lives on average. So it improves our overall wellness. All right, so to sum it up, reading is important. It makes us smarter, it makes us less stressed, more disciplined. It can level up your skills and help you in your future goals, and it'll help you lead a happier and longer life.